Hello and welcome back to Rugby from the Stands. What a night of rugby we had on Friday, with two massive games in the north. In the Gallagher Premiership, we had the top of the table clash between Northampton Saints and Saracens. And up in the URC, Glasgow Warriors took on the Bulls at Scotstoun. I spent the morning digging through the match stats and reports, and folks, these two games give us a perfect study in contrast. We saw two teams win in completely different ways. One was about explosive, lethal attack. The other was about pure, suffocating pressure. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about that thriller at Franklin's Gardens. The final score was 43-31 to the Saints. The headlines are all about one man, Tommy Freeman, and rightly so. He put on an absolute clinic, grabbing 4 tries. He gave a massive reminder of his international class. But that scoreline and the try-fest don't tell the whole story. This was a game of wild momentum swings. Northampton came out firing, racing to a 17-0 lead in just 24 minutes. They looked unstoppable, with tries from George Hendy, Tom Pearson, and Freeman's first. You can never write off the Sarries. They are serial champions for a reason. They clawed their way back. Tries from Fergus Burke, Jack Bracken, and Juan Martis Gonzalez meant that almost unbelievably, Saracens went into halftime leading 19-17. After the break, Sarries extended that lead with a try from Hugh Tizard, and it looked like they had weathered the storm. But then, the real turning point. Two things happened. First, Saints' Henry Pollock, who was immense all night, snagged a crucial intercept that flipped field position. That pressure led to a yellow card for Saracens prop Marco Riccioni. And that's when Northampton pounced. They used that man advantage to get Tom Pearson over for his second try. From there, the floodgates opened, and Tommy Freeman went on to complete his hat-trick and then add a fourth for good measure. So, how did Saints really win this? I looked at the stats and it's fascinating. It wasn't about possession. This game was won on 2 metrics: line breaks and post-contact meters. Northampton made a staggering 16 line breaks compared to just 5 from Saracens. That is clinical. But here's the killer stat: post-contact meters. Northampton's carriers racked up 536 post-contact meters. Saracens had only 279. That's nearly double. Saints weren't just running, they were dominating the collision, breaking tackles and creating chaos. And I have to say, personally, I'm absolutely loving that Northampton combination of Alex Mitchell, Finn Smith, and Tommy Freeman. It is beautiful to watch. You have Mitchell's probing kicks and service. You have Finn Smith acting like a general orchestrating the entire backline. And then you have the lethal finishing of Freeman. Now, I'm going to say something here. Personally, I think Finn Smith is the best 10 in the world right now. No. All of you Finn Russell fans, Marcus Smith fans, or Sasha fans, don't come at me with your pitchforks, right? Hear me out. When Finn Smith plays, there's no flashiness. It's never about him. But his entire backline plays better when he's at 10. That is the mark of a truly great fly half. And personally, I prefer that type of 10. It reminds me of that classic All Blacks debate, Mertens versus Carlos Spencer. Spencer was clearly more skillful and exciting to watch, but Mertens always made the players around him play better. That's what I see in Finn Smith. This was a win built on pure, explosive, and ruthless attacking efficiency, all guided by their 10. Now, let's go north to the URC, Glasgow versus the Bulls. The final score here was 21-12 to the Warriors. If the Saints-Sarries game was an all-out sprint, this was a boa constrictor slowly strangling its opponent. This was a win built on total dominance of possession and territory. Let's look at the numbers. Glasgow had 62% of the possession. Even more telling, they had 67% of the territory. They basically set up camp in the Bulls' half and refused to leave. So what does that pressure do? It forces the other team to do one thing: tackle and tackle and tackle again. The Bulls were forced to make 216 tackles over 80 minutes. Glasgow, by contrast, only had to make 114. When a team is forced to make that many tackles, that discipline eventually cracks. And that's exactly what happened. The Bulls conceded 13 penalties to Glasgow's 7. And the decisive moment came from that pressure. At 64 minutes, the Bulls player Francois Klopper was sent to the bin with a yellow card. From that resulting pressure, Glasgow was awarded a penalty try. That 7-pointer was the crucial difference in a 21-12 game. Glasgow didn't win with flashy 16-line break rugby like Northampton. They won by squeezing the life out of the Bulls, controlling the ball, dominating the field, and forcing their opponents into costly errors. So, two massive results, but two completely different blueprints for victory. Northampton showed us the power of a ruthless, explosive attack, dominating the collision and finishing every chance. Glasgow showed us the power of relentless pressure, controlling the game and forcing the opponent to break. What do you think of the games? Which performance was more impressive? And what's your take on Finn Smith? Let me know your analysis down in the comments. Thanks for watching Rugby from the Stands. We'll see you next time.